Today is the third Friday in the month of September, year 2024. Thank you for joining us on today's episode. It's definitely going to be another expository and informative episode on our program, Core Issues in Economic Development, on Amorgate Radio Communications with me, your host, Titilola Ogushono. On a couple of previous episodes, we have discussed extensively various factors influencing the rate of unemployment in a country or nation. One thing you will discover is that almost all of the determinants of unemployment levels that we have looked at have been basically core economic variables or factors. We considered, for instance, low level of savings and investments, how that will lead to a high level of unemployment rate in the nation. We mentioned that when savings levels are low in an economy, the level of investment will equally be low. Thus, savings and investments have a direct or what we call positive relationship with each other, and when these two variables are low in a nation, the level of unemployment rate would be high. That is, savings and investment having indirect or negative relationship with unemployment rate. So when your level of savings is low, level of investment is low, you're going to have high level of unemployment rate. We also mentioned another economic variable, that is higher prices. When the prices of goods and services are high in a nation, that is when inflationary pressure is high, especially when inflationary pressure is hyperinflation, very high. Definitely that would affect the level of investment, that would affect the level of income. We're talking about real income, purchasing power, and that would lead to high level of unemployment rate. We also mentioned another factor like migration, talking about the rural-urban migration. Okay, but there are other not core economic variables or factors that equally play significant roles in influencing the rate of unemployment in a nation. So one of those factors is what we'll be considering today, and that is job outsourcing. So we are going to be asking basic questions. We are going to be answering those questions on today's episode. Okay. We want to even look at what is job outsourcing. What do we mean by that? What are the various forms of outsourcing? Why do firms in a particular country outsource their job functions to other countries? Now, looking at the two sides of the divide, are there benefits that will accrue to a company, definitely also on the macro level to a nation, when specific job functions, roles are outsourced to another country? And we want to also know, what role does job outsourcing play in the rate of unemployment in a nation? Does it have any relationship with each other? We want to look at this. These are some of the questions, like I said earlier, that I'll be answering today on this particular episode. Let's look at the definition of job outsourcing. This is a process by which a firm or a business or a company outsources some of its functions to a third-party firm rather than hire full-time workers. So when you have employees that are sourced or an entire department or unit to another firm to manage on your behalf, we are talking about job outsourcing. You could also view it as a business practice to a specific third party to give services previously done by the company staff. Okay, so you could have a business structure already in place where you have your staff, in-house staff. At the moment when you decide to say, look, this particular unit should not be handled by you as a company, but rather you are outsourcing it to a third party. It could be your cleaning services to a third party, that you are outsourcing that function. So we're talking about job outsourcing. If you're not going to be in charge 100%. So let's look at some of the jobs, the tasks that could be outsourced. We have people outsourcing data analysis. You have people outsourcing content writing. but it is not your core. Most times when people outsource, it's because they want to focus on their core competencies. You have people outsourcing that human resource management function. Okay, in terms of recruitment, I want to recruit, I want to train my staff. They don't want to be saddled with such responsibilities. They outsource it to a third party because we have HR firms that's what they do. They have those units where they manage human resources of various organizations. Sometimes you want to outsource your IT services. In fact, it could be your research function that you want to outsource. Some even outsource, engineering. You want to outsource app development. You want to outsource legal documentation, in fact, core production services. You want to outsource your customer service, like your call centers. These are part of the services or tasks that could be outsourced. And if you trace it back, this concept of job outsourcing was actually first recognized as a business strategy in 1989. However, in the 1990s, it moved from being just mere business strategy to becoming a fundamental part of businesses across the globe. Job outsourcing has evolved as a strategic approach that enables firms, businesses to channel their resources strategically and efficiently by focusing on their core functions, and this will enable them to gain a competitive edge or advantage. And we have various forms or types of outsourcing. I'm going to mention 3 on today's episode. The first one is onshore outsourcing. Okay, when you talk about onshore outsourcing, is when you outsource a particular unit, particular job function, in a particular company to another company in the same region, or nation. So if you are outsourcing in the same, region, in the same country, from your own firm in your country to another firm. So if I'm in Ghana and I'm outsourcing a particular function, be it my IT function, to another firm in Ghana, so that is what we call the onshore outsourcing. Is the same region. No, for developing nations, is actually an advantage. It gives you, a cost advantage sometimes. But for developed nations, it's not going to come at not likely to come at a low cost. So if you have a company in the US outsourcing its production function aspect to another company in the US, is not likely to be significantly cheaper in terms of cost of operations, cost of production. But if you have a company in the US, outsourcing its production function to another country like China, then you are going to see significant effects, in the cost of production. So also, that's onshore outsourcing for you. So let's consider the second form or type of outsourcing, is offshore outsourcing. So it is called offshore outsourcing when you have firms outsourcing part of its operations to firms in another country. So expectedly, we are talking about a firm in another country with different, language, with different cultural practices. So if you are going out of your region, out of your continent, like I mentioned, if you are outsourcing your production function from a place like the USA, to a place like China, that is offshore outsourcing. And what it has proven over time, that it helps firms to access skilled labor and expertise at a significantly reduced cost. So it gives you that cost advantage. That is offshore outsourcing. So, which is the third form of outsourcing we're going to be considering now, is the nearshore outsourcing. This includes outsourcing operations of a company or firm to a nearby or adjacent country. So it's not the same country, but it's just adjacent to each other, and you're talking about a country with basically the same language. You have basically, because adjacent, close by, the same cultural practices. Now, what it does, the advantage this has, is that it's going to enable easy communication, because it's the same language. You're not likely to need an interpreter, and again, because it's close by, you are likely to be able to make more regular on-site visits. So for a firm, these are part of the factors you want to consider. You want to look at, you want to operate. Is it a form of nearshore outsourcing? You want to do offshore outsourcing, or do you want to just limit yourself and consider, not quite limiting, but just don't want to tell geographical location. You just want to make sure that it's close by, and you want to leverage on onshore outsourcing. So these are basically the three forms of outsourcing that we have. So you might want to ask yourself, are there top countries across the globe that leverage on outsourcing to reduce costs, to increase the level of efficiency around the globe? Oh yes, we have companies that are very big into outsourcing. We have the likes of Apple, we have Google, we have Microsoft, we have Amazon, we have Skype, we have Slack, leveraging on outsourcing to improve their level of efficiency. So on this note, we're going to move on to look at the reasons why these top countries would want to outsource some of their job functions. So the first reason why our top companies around the globe will want to outsource this function is to save costs, to reduce costs. The reason why they want to do this is to reduce their costs significantly. Now, you should know that one of the primary objectives, which is a primary financial objective of a firm, is to maximize profits. And the financial economists will talk about, shareholders' wealth maximization. But you can't maximize the wealth of your shareholders if you have not even achieved the basic financial objective on making profit. So, and you know that for a firm to maximize profit, this can actually be achieved in basically two ways. The first is you want to increase your sales. You want to increase your revenue generation. So you want to increase your output, increase your market share. You want to increase your sales so that you increase, your revenue base. Or the other one is for you to reduce your costs. You want to look at some costs are fixed, some costs are operational costs, and because fixed cost is fixed, regardless of the amount of goods and services that you produce, is fixed. So you want to reduce your costs in terms of operational costs, or what economists will term variable costs. These are costs that will vary with the level of production. So you want to leverage on that to bring it down significantly. So in a bid to drive down costs, there are countries around the globe with lower labor costs. So you see that if we realize that the labor costs in terms of the salaries, the wages, infrastructure costs in your country is high, you are going to have companies, you're going to have firms, businesses seeking alternatives. You want to look at countries with very low labor costs. You want to look at countries where the standard of living is not extremely high, is affordable. This is what you want to look at. So you see that most companies will be lured to outsource their jobs, part of their job functions, unit, department to this country that will significantly lower their operating costs. So a typical example is that you could have a manufacturing firm that would outsource its IT function to another country. You could also have a firm that would outsource its manufacturing operations to another country where labor is cheaper. Now, the implication of this is that it can produce the same product, at a lower cost. And when your costs are low, definitely it's going to impact your price. You are going to be able to, sell at a price that is competitive in the market, and that will give you that competitive edge. So you have two firms, one in a country like Nigeria, where the operational cost is high. So definitely one is high. That company might not be able to sell its a particular unit of its product for less than maybe equivalent of $2. But when another country has moved to a country like China, where operational cost, labor cost is significantly lower, such a country can produce the same product as, at the unit of that product at about $1. So you see a dollar difference. Okay, so it means that the company in Nigeria, selling that product will not be as competitive. It's not likely to have that market share. The company that has outsourced its production functions to a country like China with lower labor costs, lower operational costs, would have a larger market share. And that will even impact its profitability level. Okay, so that is one major reason why companies, why firms find job outsourcing attractive, interesting, profitable, because it's going to drive down costs, especially operational costs, variable costs significantly. And we have empirical evidences around the globe. We have statistical survey, and it states that 50% of top companies like Accenture outsource their work to cut costs. And again, there's another report that says that it is estimated that firms outsourcing, their functions to Philippines can save up to 70% compared to hiring in-house staff in developed nations. So you can imagine if you have a country like the USA, okay, and you can save up to 70% by just outsourcing your particular job functions to the Philippines. So you can imagine that quantum of cost that you have been able to save. And that is massive. So the first major reason why firms would outsource that job function is to reduce costs. Let's look at the second reason why firms would want to outsource is to increase level of efficiency. So mostly it's not all about cost reduction. What you want to achieve as the business firm, it might be to increase your level of efficiency, because there are particular processes that you want to outsource to specialized firms that have more expertise and experience in these areas than you have as a company, and also that are located in low-cost countries. Okay, for instance, if it's your core competence as an organization is not IT, so you want to outsource your IT function to a company in India. India is really known for their high level of IT skills. So you want to outsource this IT function to a company in India, and because these firms will have in reality, they have the resources, they have the skills, they have the structure, they have the processes, and they can even leverage on technology, to produce higher quality products or services with less resources. When we talk about efficiency, you are talking about doing more with the least resources. So you see that you don't have that competitive edge in terms of efficiency level. They have the expertise, they have the experience, they can do more with little. Okay, so you're even talking about the time factor. Even if you can produce, you can match up the quality, but it's going to take you more. And we talk about the time value of money. So if you can do more with less time, okay, and this is going to impact the efficiency level of your firm. So why not outsource it? So another reason why firms will outsource is that there are specialized processes, skills that the firm might not have a competitive advantage, and they want to outsource to another firm that are specialists in such fields, and it will impact the efficiency level. And once you are efficient as a firm, definitely it's going to impact your profitability level. So let's look at the third reason why firms would typically outsource their some job functions or departments or roles is that you want to focus on your more strategic goals. You want to focus on your core competencies as an organization. You want to focus on your areas of strength where you have absolute advantage, comparative advantage as a nation. So let's get practical with this, okay? When you talk about a firm focusing on your core functions, your core competencies, what do I mean? So for instance, we have a firm that is a management, consulting firm. So what will be your core functions as a management consulting firm and also into HR? Your core function will be supporting organization with strategy. So when it comes to strategy formulation, strategy articulation, strategy implementation, getting organization to be ambidextrous, that is your core competence, your core function. Your core function would include recruitment. You want to recruit for organizations. You want to do what we call performance management, development of performance management frameworks. That is your core function. Your core function will also involve policy and process, formulation, documentation, mapping. Talking about skills audit, it will be your core competence. You want to talk about training, formulation, development, training, delivery, training, evaluation. That will be your core competence as a management consulting firm. You want to even go further to talk about performance management, okay? That would be your core function. Performance contracting, it will be your core function. So you want to concentrate your effort. Now, that this what we have mentioned will be the core function of such a firm, but the other functions too, okay? Even when you're looking at all of this, we are going to need IT, wouldn't you? Of course, we're going to need the IT support. Yes, we are going to need legal, because we're going to be going to contract with organizations. You want to recruit for a particular organization, you have to go into contractual agreements. So you're going to need the legal services of a lawyer. Okay, so now if you look at this, I mentioned the core. IT support is not going to be your core as a management consulting firm. Okay, having lawyers, having the legal unit is not going to be your core. It's going to impact on your costs. So this is reason you can now decide to say, let me focus my energies, okay, my resources, because definitely your resources will be limited. Okay, it can't be limitless, because you always want to expand and you want to make the best. Like I said, you want to make profit. You want to even talk about shareholders' wealth maximization. You are even talking about sustainability goal, as an organization. We want to build an organization that will be transgenerational. So you'll be looking at all of those things. So you want to focus on your core, where you want to be the leader in the industry. You want to be it in your country. You want to be the best in your continent. You want to be the best around the globe. So you want to concentrate your energies on what is your core. So you want to outsource the IT support. You want to outsource the legal, the legal function. You don't want to warehouse it. And that's one of the reasons why people want to outsource. And it will allow you. That's one of the advantages of outsourcing. Yes, we are talking about job outsourcing, remember, as one of the factors, leading to high level of unemployment rate, which we are going to still get to, but it has its merit, it has its advantages, and one of such is that it allows you as an organization to focus on your core functions, core competencies, solidifying it so that it becomes an advantage for you to gain competitive global edge. So the fourth reason for job outsourcing, or what I would say the merit of job outsourcing, is that it gives room for flexible staffing. And when we say flexible staffing, this is a situation that allows organizations to adjust workforce based on changing business needs. So it means that I don't have to warehouse, skills that I do not need. I don't have to warehouse employees or staff that I'm not going to need at a particular point in time. Okay, so it depends on what you need at that time. There are peak periods, there are off-peak periods. For instance, for a firm during your audit period, you might have to employ more people. Okay, so if during audit period I need like 10 people, just doing audit period will be just 3 months of preparation. Why do I have to warehouse? And what I need on the at my off-peak period when the audit time is not near, is just about 5 people or 6. So why do I want to warehouse additional 4? Because of my peak periods. So it's going to be more cost to me. I'm going to pay salaries, or you want to pay wages. You're going to give incentives. A lot of things like that. So, and that will also impact in the long run on your cost, operational cost. So why do I want to? So what job outsourcing does for you as an organization is that during those peak periods, okay, audit period is here, you can just outsource part of your job to an audit firm. So it's okay. I have 5 people in my audit team, but I'm going to need 5 or I'm going to need additional 4 or 5. Then you outsource to them. So it's not about a matter of paying, for that 3 months period, your peak season. Okay, so that's what job outsourcing gives room for. You'll be very flexible. My peak period, I can hire more people. My peak period, hiring more people in terms of outsourcing that job function to them. I don't have to bring more people, into my payroll, as it may be. Is there any other reason that companies will want to outsource that job function? Oh yes, the 5th reason is that it enables organizations to run 24 hours service. Okay, so let's look at it. I want to run a 24-hour service as a firm. So basically, we have our labor laws. You can't allow anybody to work you can't tell them to work for 12 hours as a stretch. You can't tell them to work, for 10 hours. Most places you can't work for 12 hours as a stretch. So it's going to be 24 hours. Realistically, we are going to have to hire 3 people for that particular role. So you are going to have, you are going to need, 3 shifts of employees. So somebody comes in, typically in the morning from what time to the afternoon. Somebody is there from the afternoon to late at night, and somebody is there from maybe 10 p.m. late till early hours of the morning, like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. So you're going to need 3 shifts of employees, and that will come at a very huge cost. Okay, so what outsourcing does for you is that it helps you to still maintain these 24 hours operations, what we call round the cost operations. Okay, so what we call round the clock operations. But however, it will not enable you as a firm to run these operations 24 hours at a significantly reduced cost. An example of it is a call center. You can call them at any time, more early hours of the morning, in the evening, late hours into the evening. So we have companies that want to run this, right? The telecommunications company in the telecommunications sector. So what they do is that you see them outsourcing, that aspect, that's a call center, to other companies. Like we have countries that are known for top destinations for call centers, like the Philippines. We have countries that are known for, like India. Okay, so that's why one of the reasons why companies want to outsource their job function, because you want to have wider coverage, you want to have wider reach, you want to have larger market share. Okay, and that can only happen when your present and intending customers, clients, can have access to you at any time, because we have different time zones across the globe. So when you are in the morning here, we have somebody else in another time zone in the evening, or even so that's it. So when you want to have more global reach, you want more people to reach you because of the different time zone, you might have to really consider outsourcing your call center so that people can reach you at any time of the day because of the time difference. Okay, so that's another reason why people want you to outsource their job function. So imagine, like we said earlier, having people in-house is going to have that huge impact on your cost, and again, it's going to impact your profitability level. For time's sake, I'll just drop the last reason why firms would outsource their job function is to improve the skill set of in-house employees. Okay, definitely when you are outsourcing your job function, you are going to be outsourcing to firms with higher level of expertise, higher level of experience, and when you outsource this to them, and you have the arrangement where your in-house employees can interface with them, interact with them, so definitely they are going to be learning from them. So invariably, while you are outsourcing the job functions to them, your current workforce would also be learning. And when they learn, they can apply it on the job, and it's going to impact their skill set, their skills level, which will be evident in the level of consistent superior results that are going to be bringing to the table. So that is the last factor that we'll be considering today. So that's all we can take. But next episode, next week, by God's grace, we'll be looking at the consequences, or what you call the cons, or what we would say the drawbacks, the limitations, the challenges, the negative effects of outsourcing in an economy. Yes, we know that there are two sides of the divide. It has also benefits, but we are going to be looking at what are the consequences, economic implications of outsourcing jobs, on a nation. And of course, we'll be taking empirical evidences, looking at the top outsourcing destinations for developed countries. Where are those countries where the costs are relatively low in terms of labor costs, and they are really specialists in some job functions? I love the words of Lee Kuan Yew, which says that if you deprive yourself of outsourcing and your competitors do not, you are putting yourself out of business. Okay, remember at Amogate, for your training needs, for your strategic needs, for your communications need, we have you covered. This is what we love to do. We love partnering with organizations to build structures, to build processes, to map out your vision, to build your strategies to achieving competitive edge. Okay, so to know more about us, kindly visit our website www.theamogate.org. And remember, we at Amogate Radio Communications, we have other programs that run from Mondays to Fridays, same time, 5 p.m. WAT. They're very engaging, they're very insightful, they're very expository programs that you learn from my other colleagues. My program was on Friday, but we have other programs that run from Monday to Thursday, inclusive of my program on Friday. And if you want to see more of what we do, you can check us up on our social media handles as well. On LinkedIn is Amogate, on Instagram is Amogate, on Facebook is Amogate. And if you have any questions, that's why we are here for you. You have any feedback, you have any issue you want to clarify in any of our programs, and also my program, or you want another aspect, another view, is any issue you want us to discuss too, you want to learn more from us, kindly send a mail to us at contact@theamogate.org. The mail to send your feedback, questions, suggestions is contact@theamogate.org. I look forward to having you join me next Friday, same time as 5 p.m. WAT. Please do have a beautiful and fun-filled weekend. And on this note, I'm saying bye from here. I remain Titilola Ogushono.